Okay, and you will tell us when. Go. Good evening. My name is Louise, and welcome to another episode of Saita Straight Talk. Tonight, we are going to explore the experiences of our fellow lady traders and the experiences, particularly, that they have at various markets all across South Africa. In honor of Women's Month, it's important for us to have a straight talk about the fears, the challenges, the victories, and the dreams all our traders have. The dreams and fears and victories, not only for themselves, but also for the community of traders as a whole. And again, we will revisit the power that there is in standing together. The panel joining me this evening are all strong women leaders. From the Eastern Cape, from the organization Isibanesa Batengisi in what is formerly Port Elizabeth, but currently Gqeberha, Suraya Ahmed, good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Louise, and good evening, the panel.
Then we
Suraya
have...
Ahmed.
Sorry, Suraya, carry on.
It's called Isibani Sabatengisi, and that is from Port Elizabeth.
Thank you so much. We've got Shireen Rowland. Shireen, twice in 1 week. Very welcome. You're from the Mitchell's Plain United Hawkers Forum. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, everybody. Evening to the panel, evening to our viewers. I'm Shireen Rowland. I'm from the Mitchell's Plain United Hawkers Forum, and we are based in Mitchell's Plain, as our name explains.
Thank you. Then we've got Yasmin Page, and she's from the South African Women Informal Traders Association. Good evening, Yasmin. Welcome to the panel this evening.
Thank you. Good evening, Louise, and the panel and the viewers. Thank you.
Lulama Mali from JITP in Gauteng is scheduled to join us in a few minutes. She's got a bit of a technical glitch on her side, so we're hoping that she's going to join us shortly. Ladies, tonight is a celebration of Women's Month. It's a celebration of our strengths, our fears, our weaknesses, our dreams. And I think there's nobody that can encapsulate those emotions better than an informal trader. But I want to start off by giving each of you an opportunity to tell us about your organization, your market, and just set the scene for us about who you are, what makes you tick in your little area. I'm going to start with Suraya. Suraya, you give us an idea of what is happening in the Eastern Cape.
Louise, there's two things I believe in the informal trade. And the one is you in the informal trade, not by choice, but by necessity. And the other thing I believe of the informal trade is that it's the only sector that can say it produces doctors, teachers, lawyers, because somewhere in our background, our mothers, fathers were informal traders.
Suraya, tell us a little bit more about your organization.
Our organization started, or I became a trader 28 years ago, and that was still in the apartheid time. And in that time, it was very hard to trade. We were harassed a lot. It got to the stage where if you saw a policeman or you saw a traffic officer, you knew you were going to be harassed. Or your bag would be emptied and your personal belongings would be lying all over the streets. They were looking for your IDs. We were in such a state when we saw these things, and we couldn't stand up for ourselves. And then a lot of women came together and they said to us, it's by time that we started something. And a few businessmen had noticed our harassing, and they called us and they said, we'd like to help you. If you can gather some traders, we will get you a venue and we will start you off introducing you to the municipality. And at that time, there was no LEDs, it was only the licensing officers. And we got introduced to them and we started negotiating with them because there were no trading spaces. You just had to trade anywhere on the street. When we got into the municipal offices, the first thing we asked was, could they demarcate some places for us? Because you had to get up early in the morning to get place just to find somewhere to trade. And many of our ladies who was coming from townships was so scared because they were robbed. And that was our number one priority, to get a settled trading space for us. We then started gathering a lot of women. As you know, that 90% of traders are women. And we got together and we said we wanted to try and organize ourselves, but we had no experience of how to form an organization. Then we were introduced to StreetNet, and StreetNet showed us. They coached us and they helped us to form our organization. In 2011, we started our organization, which was called Isibani Sabatengisi. And we can say that our complete executive on that in that organization are only women.
Well done, and congratulations. Thank you for that. Soraya, I'm going to come back just now and ask you to please explain to us what your organization's name means. I'm really excited to find out what the meaning of it is. But I want to quickly hop to Mitchell's Plain. Yasmin, you are from the organization, the South African Women Informal Traders Association. Tell us who are you? Where did it start? How big is your organization? It's great to hear these stories. I'm sure you've also been a trader for a very long time.
Yes, I've been trading for plus minus over 20 years. And when I started trading, it was dominated by men, because the association that was there was only men in the exco, and actually women didn't stand a chance against these men. They dominated the area, the trading areas, and we as women were minority. But eventually, as years went on, we grew more as women, and in 2017 we decided, because we're majority women, we are going to change the organization from the Fifth Avenue to the South African Women Informal Traders Association, because we were 90% women. And what actually happened was the men in the market, in the trading areas, actually supported us as women with this initiative. And from that time onwards, we only grew from strength to strength. We are plus minus 120 traders. And we're participating in different initiatives as a women's organization. We have our challenges where patriarchy is concerned. It still exists,
Yes.
and but we do not let that get the better of us. Quite recently, last year, 2020, we was awarded the managing rights of our trading areas, which is a first for a trader organization as a women's organization. So in the near future, we will be managing our trading areas, and where one of the traders, actually myself, was nominated as the market manager for the trading area. And the model that we used in our trading areas is quite successful because it was approved by some sub-council in May 2021, and they're planning on implementing it in all the other trading areas.
Okay, that's very, very exciting. Thank you, Yasmin. Shireen, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Tell us a little
I
bit
started.
more.
Yeah, I started trading in September 1987. I acquired my first trading license to trade in public. Like Soraya has said, that at that time the laws were quite harsh. You had to run around with your goods, even though you had your permit, which was a little green card, and it was never specific. So we were always harassed by law enforcement. They had a special task team at the time, the Hawker Squad they were called, and they would come around and they would intimidate us. And at that time, there was only 2 small organizations in town center which we were not members of. But as time went on, post 94, people started flooding because it's now a free trade. So they started flooding town center. Town center have a specific area called Symphony Lane, which is a very congested area, but it is the most competitive area. It used to be the most competitive area for any trader and any shopper, because you could get 10 potatoes for 5 rand, where you would get 3 inside by the supermarket. So yeah, then moving on, in 1995, we were formed in 1994. In 1995, we had a problem in town center where the city issued out a head lease system to the formal sector to manage the informal sector. Subsequently, we found out that they only paid 16 rand for this lease per annum, per year. And we were taxed with 80 rand per 2 by 2 meter bay. And this made us so unhappy, because now the formal sector, which were called the Merchants Association at the time, they dominated everything, and they could afford to start a security company. They were just at it. And at that time, we were 360 traders times 80 rand, and we did the math. And we were unhappy. And we just had our president elected. And we are now being educated around our freedoms and all that. And with that, we decided to take the city to task. We were the first organization in the Western Cape to march to Parliament. At the time, Trevor Manuel was still the Minister of Trade and Industry. We marched, we gave him a memorandum. He was happy to read it. And then we went back. Now the battle is going to start. We did not stop there. We applied, we gathered money, and then we took the city to court, to the High Court, because we felt it was unfair. How can they give the head lease system to people that is already in a good financial standing, and they are abusing the powers that they have, and the people that must benefit from this is not benefiting,
Yes.
And we won the case. The city was not impressed with us, but we won the case. So the head lease system was shut off, and we could trade for free. And that went on up till today, up till about 12 years ago when we had to pay our permits, had to apply for permits and that. But there's such a lot of history that's in between there. It wasn't easy. The traders had difficult time during those years. And we're beginning to see a little bit more light now that we have a little bit more unity. And that is our job, unite the sector so that we can reap the benefits.
Yes, true that, Shireen. You know, as the three of you are chatting and sharing your stories, I can't help thinking that there's really truth in the saying that the more things change, the more things stay the same. Because Shireen, you and Suraya, and I'm sure Yasmin, even though you didn't mention it, you also know what it feels like to have to stand with a permit and have your goods confiscated. And I hear now we're sitting in 2021, and it's not much different. I mean, if we look at what happened in Gauteng this week, again, where law enforcement just confiscated our traders' goods. But now I want to ask you, ladies, how do you do it every day? What motivates you as a female trader? What is that? What is your special power? Yasmin, what is your special power that makes you do this over and over and over?
I would say that I can relate to what Shireen and Suraya was saying about confiscation and permits. We were actually also in the same situation, but if you on the ground and you see the need of the people, what is their need, and they're coming for the same thing that you as a trader is coming. So I think that is actually what is driving me to be more passionate in the sector, because as women, and I believe the majority of the informal sector is women, we come there to do the same thing. We are parents, we are mothers, we are single mothers with responsibilities. But at the end of the day, it comes down to that we have to stand united in what we do. And that is why we as an organization have achieved so much, because we have the support of each and every trader on our side. And if the city wanted to come and do this, and then we stopped them, because we were committed and we were dedicated, and that was our passion that we did. So yes, there is challenges, there is risk involved, the risk of going to jail, being harassed by law enforcement and that. But there's other ways and means that you can do this in line with the policies of the city. So that is basically how we do it. And I think that we're not gonna rest until we get what we think is right for us as the informal sector.
Suraya, tell us, I do want to know about the meaning of your organization's name. I'm totally infatuated by it. So please tell us, what does it mean? And then you tell me also what makes you get up every morning as a woman trader?
Louise, our organization, the meaning is the light of the women.
Wow.
If you take it how we go through all these hardships, and we believe that at the end of the tunnel, there is a light. What motivates me is I've seen what's happened in Gauteng, and I've seen what has happened in KZN. And in 1991, I was a casualty of an uprising where I stood and I saw my supermarket going into flames, and I had nothing left. That was my life savings. I had a son that was going to university the following year, and I had a son who was going to start high school, and I had nothing left. And I thought, you either have to swim or you have to sink. And that is when I became a trader. I met women who was going through the very same thing as I, and we started engaging each other, and we came up with an idea. There was a lady who was at university, and she was going through a divorce, and she couldn't afford to pay. It was her last year to become a social worker. And I said to her, I can bake and you can sell. And we started. I was baking through the night and she was selling during the day. And that is how we built up a capital. I saw a gap in the market, and I became a bucket trader. And I saw that our traders had to travel far to buy from the markets. So I became a wholesaler for our traders. And that is how I started learning all the traders in all our areas. And we eventually, you become like a family. And I've seen how many of these women were struggling to put their children through school. And that is what motivates me, because I've put my children through school, and now it's the saying of your child is my child. When you become a trader, you become part of a family. So you know these women and you work with them. 95% of your time is spent with these. That is your family. And that is what motivates me to work with these women every day.
Thank you, Soraya. Shireen, tell us what motivates you, because I'm sure that there are, I'm listening to each of you and your challenges are so different and yet so similar.
Yeah, what motivates me, I think, let me start. My late father started trading in Claremont, and I was just a little picky. But what I remembered was we always had fruit and we always had veggies. We might not have had meat in the house, but we had that. My father was a laborer by trade. My mother was a laborer by trade. And I fell in that same loop. I had a lot of aspirations as a young girl. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be an accountant. I wanted to be so many things. But I started initially trading at the age of 12 because we were living, which today is Crossroads. It used to have a very small colored community, and we were living there. And we had, we did not have electricity, we didn't have running water. So we moved from there in 1979 to Mitchell's Plain. And my parents were faced with hardship because we came from 10 Rand a month rent to 120 Rand rent. And it is electricity, and it is schooling. And my father's further away from his work, my mother further away from her work. And I just looked at that. And I thought to myself, I'm going to start selling Cook Sisters, samosas, and cool drinks on the sports field. Because this is now a new phenomenon. Everybody gathers at the sports fields. And I started out in Rockland Sports Field. And I promised myself, one day I am going to become a business person. And I think that is where my passion, the fact that I as a child could see that fruit and that vegetables sustained us. I have quite a few skills. I have a lot of skills. But I said to myself, I need to control the income. I started with this. My parents, my brothers, 7 brothers, also followed, becoming informal traders. You know, through that, we put 4 of our grandchildren through university, some of them through college. But it was as difficult as it was rewarding,
Yeah.
Because at the same time, we could let our children come to our business and sit there and do their homework. When you were formally employed, you couldn't do that. Many informal traders' children used to come in the afternoon from school and sit next to their parents while the parents trade and do their studies because they had access to the library, they had access to photocopying facilities and all those things. So that passion, that motivates me. The fact that you can take a 10 cents and make it into a 20 cents and feed your family, that to me is everything.
Wow. I am totally inspired by the three of you. I'm totally inspired by the three of you. Yasmin, your organization, you said 120 traders of
Yes.
women.
Yes.
That is no mean feat because, you know, us as women, we can stand together, but sometimes we can also, we can also be very headstrong with each other, hey? I want to ask you, as a leader of so many women traders, if you had to give a new woman or a young lady advice, quick advice, onto what she needs to become a trader to be successful, what would you say to her?
For her to become a trader, to become successful, she needs to be educated on the policies, on all the governance of where informal trading is concerned, because everything with regards to informal trading has got policies and processes that you need to follow. And the other thing is business management. And because some of our traders is illiterate, and therefore they're struggling to do quite well in their businesses. But as an organization and people that I myself look up to that made successes of their businesses, for them it's for her to go into a business management course or do something and request from the city or different organizations to partner with them so that she can also make a success of her business.
Thank you. Shireen, I'm going to ask you, what would your message be to the lady that's been trading for a while, but things are just not going her way at the moment? Can you give her a special word of motivation?
Well, I will concur with what Jasmine has said, that learn, and learn. I used to trade. As a trader, I got a starter home from the city, 36 square meter home. Today, I own my property, I've developed my property, and I live in a 120 square meter house. I think that is a massive achievement.
Yes.
And
well done.
It came with challenges. I used to go to the market with 1,000 rand, and then I would end up on a Sunday counting my money, and then I will have maybe 1,800 rand. But when I look at the stuff that I bought, my wastage, the little things that we give sadaqah, we give something free for somebody, and my money didn't add up. For many years, it did not add up, and I was extremely arrogant. I did not want to do a business skills course. A business skills course teaches you many things. It teaches you financial management, projections. It teaches you a lot. It teaches you to read your market. It teaches you to look for a niche in the market. What is out there? What is short out there? You know, it's senseless because you see me selling fruit and veg to also want to sell fruit and veg. Maybe you bake a nice cake. Maybe you make a nice samosa. Maybe you design and make a nice dress. But without the necessary skills, you are going to stagnate and stay there. You are not going to grow. You need to make use. If you see in the community newspapers that there is training, go for it. It will help you. It will assist you. I have been trading now. My eldest son is 36. He was 3 years old when I started trading. So I'm trading 33 years. And every decade, I have learned something new. Keep yourself open to learn. That is very important. Don't stick to this one thing, because you can do multiple things when you are an informal trader, because you are in charge of your time. But make part of that learning, training yourself, going to training courses, and that is how you will grow. You will grow out of the survivalist sector into the SMME side. But you are not going to grow if you're not going to learn. Definitely not.
Thank you, Shireen. Soraya, I'm a firm believer in leaving a legacy. And just listening to what Yasmin and Shireen has been saying, and also at the length of time that all three of you ladies have been trading, clearly shows that there was a legacy. It's a legacy that your parents have left behind. It's a legacy that you are leaving behind. What would you say, Soraya, to traders who think that they're not good enough to be a mentor to somebody new?
We all have a passion, and everybody has got that something special about you. So I believe that we all do have a legacy to leave behind. No matter what you are doing, no matter how small you are doing, it's what you leave behind that matters the most. And I would say, the legacy I would like to leave behind is for young women. Do what you are passionate about, because if you've got passion, it's not it's not as if you are working. If you enjoy something, it becomes easier for you. So that is what I would say. Inspire somebody to say, do something that you are passionate about, but do something that you love doing. And that would make you successful.
Thank you, ladies. What I have realized as I'm listening to the three of you is that really tonight is a celebration also of what Saita stands for, and that is to be the umbrella body, an alliance between all the different informal trader organizations that exist. And for us to be able to sit around this cyber table and talk about the things that I think you should be intensely proud of is really history in the making, because we've never had that. Yasmin, Shireen, Soraya, you've spoken about education and educating yourself. When we are one sector, we have one voice. So that means we will be able to teach from one portal, as you were saying. Know what your rights are. Know what the bylaws are. Know what is the framework within which you can trade. And that is what is so amazing, to know that there are three organizations here that also, in their own right, support the mission and vision of what Saita stands for. Ladies, it is Women's Month, and I can only but honor the three of you, not only for your time, but also for the place that you've taken on in the community. I look forward to seeing you on many more talks of Saita, and I look forward to seeing your organization's alliance with Saita, so that we can make the informal trading sector a sector to be reckoned with. This is the sector that's going to change the South African economy. Shireen, Yasmin, Soraya, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Louise.
And that is this evening's Straight Talk episode On Tuesday next week, we'll be back with another live session and a punchy topic just for you. We care about the informal trader. Nothing about us without us. Good night.
Good night.